Hi, everyone. I want to talk about market structures for a few minutes. It's assumed you've already read a bit about this, learned a bit about this, and I want to kind of just talk more about it and summarize some of the things. So as you can see, I already have a basic chart behind me. And let's start with monopoly. The number of firms by definition of monopoly is just one. An example would be, at least here, would be the energy company. So anybody that wants to get electric power in their home, they have to go to one company, We Energies. And there's no other close substitute or for that kind of power. And there's no one else to go to for that power, for getting the electric power. So we'll see an energy company. It's a very unique product. The type is unique. There's no close substitutes for it. And barriers to entry here are impossible. If you wanted to start a power company here, you would not be allowed to by law. Now, typically monopolies are illegal, but this is what's called a natural monopoly, that it's better to just have one producer and just one set of wires going to the homes. It's cheaper for everybody involved. So what the government does, it regulates how much that they can charge. So again, typically monopolies are illegal, but in this case, those are allowed. Perfect competition. There are many providers that are very similar, and barriers to entry, if you want to start it, are very low. Agricultural products fall into this. I'll talk about bottled water. So let's take water, especially in bottles, right? If you go to a store and you go to buy water, basically these are all the same. Now, some are going to try to claim they're a little bit different than they may be in some ways with where they come from and things like that, and that's their marketing piece. But basically, you're going to look at probably the lowest price. And this is what's best for consumers. There's high quality, because if this water is a bad quality, people won't buy it at all. And because there's so much competition, it keeps prices low. Low barriers. I could start my own bottled water company if I wanted to, right? I could just have a bunch of bottles come to my house. I could fill it up with the tap, try to sell them. Now, let's say I try to make a lot of money by selling them at $10 a bottle. That wouldn't work. No one's going to buy it because they can buy it cheaper. So I have to be what's called a price taker. I take the market price because I have no control of it. My entry into the industry doesn't affect the price. My leaving the industry doesn't affect the price. And so the only thing I have control over is the amount I produce. Then we have the ones in between. Monopolistic competition. Again, there's many. The product starts to become a little more differentiated. Barriers to entry are low, meaning you can start a business here fairly easy, not as easy as over here, but fairly easy. Good examples of these would be local restaurants. Any kind of family-owned business, so like a home repair, even some auto repair. Not the dealerships, but family-owned auto repair. These tend to be more family-owned businesses. Now, they have a differentiated product, meaning, like restaurants, a pizza restaurant is going to be different than a sushi restaurant versus a steak restaurant or things like this. And because there's some differentiation, they have some pricing control. Not complete, but some pricing control because of this. Where we tend to buy most of our products, though, are from oligopolies. An oligopoly means there's just a few producers. Examples would be auto companies, mobile phone, airline, oil companies. So think if you want to start your own oil company that provides oil to the markets, I mean, there's a lot of capital investment in doing so. Or if you want to start an auto company, make cars, a huge capital investment. So that means that the barriers to entry are quite difficult. The product, I forgot to squeeze this in here, is both differentiated and similar at the same time. Right? Break that apart there a bit. So think with cars, they're all these vehicles with four wheels that have doors and lights and use a fuel that gets you from point A to point B. So they're, in that sense, they're very similar, but they're very different in, the size and the styling and the handling and all the other accessories that come about with it. Think with the airlines, right? They all get you point A to point B pretty quickly in the air using similar aircraft, but they're different in their seating arrangements and the services they provide and things of that sort. And that's where they tend to compete. So oligopolies tend not to compete on price very much. They have typically a price leadership model where one dominant firm in the industry leads the pricing, and they compete on things other than price. Monopolies can actually make the price by limiting supply, and here they're price takers. What you'll also notice is that these tend to be very elastic goods, and they tend to become more inelastic as we go this way. Also, businesses that are over in this area tend to want to merge and go this way. Doing so reduces their cost of production because they can get economies of scale as they get bigger. However, as they get bigger, there's more pricing control. So the role of government here is to let businesses get bigger so they get more efficient and eventually keep lower costs overall, but not reduce competition. Reduce competition too much on consumers, then governments tend not to allow them to merge, because this is what we don't want, is to hurt consumers. So each structure has its own benefits as to what it produces and why. To say that they all should be in one perfect competition or monopolistic competition or something is not right. They each have something that they add to society for their type of product and the type of market that they're in. But again, what we want to do is to encourage as much competition as possible, whatever market structure that they are. So I hope this helped in your understanding of the topic. Again, always see me if you have more questions. Thanks for your time.